A lot of people in their 20s feel like they're doing everything right, but they still feel broke. They have a job, they're making decent money, but somehow there's never anything left at the end of the month. And most of the time, it's not just because of rent, student loans, or anything extreme, but it's usually a few small habits that don't feel like a big deal. One of the biggest ones is eating out. Not because eating out is bad, that's an entirely separate video topic, but because most people don't realize how much it's actually costing them over time. So in this video, I want to talk about breaking down the math of eating out, explaining why it hits harder in your 20s, and talking about how to fix this without just killing out the idea of eating out, because that's kind of crazy to do that. So why doesn't this feel like a problem? Eating out is sneaky. Let's think about it. It's not like you're buying a car or signing a lease or something where you clearly see the price. Maybe after work it's $10 here, $15 there. Feeling tired, you DoorDash a milkshake or something. You don't feel broke when you're swiping your card. You feel broke later when you look at your bank account and you don't really know where your money went. It's because it's spread out. Most people never stop to actually add it up. Let's just do some very basic math. Let's say you spend $15 out when you go out to eat. That's not really average. It might even be higher because these days inflation is just getting out of hand. But that fast food, let's just say it's Chipotle, maybe Starbucks and a snack, anything like that. If you do that 4 times a week, that's $60 a week. $60 a week turns into $3,000 a year. And for a lot of people, that number is actually higher. Now here's the thing that people don't think about. That $3,000 isn't just money you spent. It's money you could have used to build some margin in your life. That's emergency fund money. That's investing money. That's just that money to let you take risks. Why does this hit harder in your 20s? In your 20s, cash flow matters way more than people realize. This is when you're starting off. You're usually making less money than you will later in your life, and you're still figuring things out, so you really don't have a lot of margin. So when you're constantly spending all the money you get on convenience, you end up in this cycle where saving feels impossible. Then, even if the smallest thing goes wrong, your car needs work, you miss a paycheck, or something just unexpected comes, now you're forced to put it all onto a credit card. That's how people don't just stay broke, that's how they fall behind. And also, it's not just about eating out. Eating out is just one example. The real issue is unintentional spending. This is things like subscriptions you forgot about, upgrading to the newest iPhone every year, or just financing random small stuff just because the payment looks small. None of these things alone are gonna ruin you, but all of these together are gonna destroy your cash flow. And once your cash flow is gone, everything else in life is gonna become harder. So what really is the fix to this without being miserable and never going out? So it's not about never going out, it's just being more intentional. Pick a couple of days out of the week where you eat out on purpose and enjoy it. The rest of the time, just keep it simple, save that money, eat out from home. Even if you save just $50 or $100 a month by cutting back, that's gonna start to add up really quickly. Even $100 a month is 1,200 extra dollars you have in your bank account. If you spend that money consistently over time, it matters way more than people think about. A lot of people think financial goals are way too big and that's why they never stick to them. You gotta start small. As things scale up, the savings add up way quicker than you'd expect. You really gotta step back and look at the bigger picture. A lot of people think that building wealth is about doing something impressive, starting a huge business at 20, getting rich off dropshipping, getting crypto coins and getting lucky off of those, but that's just really not the case. Most of the time, it's just about avoiding dumb mistakes long enough for time to work in your favor. If you can control your spending, avoiding bad debt, and investing consistently, you don't need luck, you just need patience. So the case for a lot of people is needing help not spending money when they see it in their bank accounts. If you're the type of person that sees money sitting in your bank account and immediately wants to spend it, that's totally normal. I catch myself doing that sometimes too. One thing I really recommend is setting up an automatic investment. It could be monthly, it could be weekly, and it doesn't have to be a lot. Even something like $50 or $100. Once you start doing that, you naturally start budgeting better because you know that money is going out of your account no matter what. It forces a little bit of discipline without you having to think about it. That money you could set up with certain apps such as Webull and stuff to automatically have that money go into an ETF. And if you don't know what an ETF is, it's basically a basket of stocks. You buy one investment, but that investment gives you exposure to a lot of different companies at once. For example, the SPY, or SPY is commonly referred to as, tracks the S&P 500, which represents about 500 of the largest public companies in the US. When you buy SPY, you're buying small pieces of companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google all at the same time. That's the best way to think about it. VTI is also a similar ETF, but it's a little bit more broader. It includes large companies plus mid cap and small cap companies. So this is basically just including smaller and growing businesses. That's actually the one that I end up spending my money at. Historically, ETFs like SPY and VTI and VOO have averaged around 9 to 10% per year over the long run. Now, of course, there can be bad years in the market. This number does not always get to 9 or 10% returns year after year. Some years it will go down, but you must remember, we are doing this for long-term investing. We are wanting to build wealth, not get our money ripped off by a get-rich scheme. Remember, time in the market beats timing the market. If you just continue investing consistently over time and not worrying about the small ups and downs throughout the market, by the time it's time for you to retire, you will see growth. I'm curious and I'd love to know, what's one small habit you know you could cut back on if you were honest with yourself? Drop it in the comments. If you guys like this video, consider subscribing and I'll see you guys in the next one.